you have like so many moments which changing your idea about climbing, because I think climbing is just interesting. Of climbing is like a moving process, you know, like you try to moving on, and this is something which always have driven me in my climbing. I just wanted to reach the next step. I want to just keep going a step further and trying harder and just figure out. And I think this is all about climbing. No matter how hard you climb, it doesn't really actually matter what is you're actually climbing. It's just the progress of getting better or trying something new. And I think that's really important. But I think one of the biggest steps I have made was with my speed ascents. I mean, to get into this speed ascents was just something because I like to play, because I climbed the Eiger North Face so many times. I climbed it until now. I climbed it 37 times, and of course you're looking for a new challenge, because it's boring repeating the same route again and again. It's not a challenge anymore. But on the other hand, it's just there because it's just in my backyard, so it's pretty nice to play. So this whole idea about being faster came into my mind, and soloing it as fast as possible. So this was kind of like the first step of this whole idea of being fast and efficient and single push climbing. I climbed for the first time in 2007 in 3 hours and 54 minutes the Eiger North Face, and this was for me a moment. I was like, wow, I climbed it under 4 hours. Everybody was really excited about that, but for me I was like, actually it doesn't really matter. It's more like the progress in your climbing. If it's 2 hours and 47 or it's 3.5 hours, that's not the big change. It's a change for you. It's your personal change to figure out what is possible, how far can I go. So this Eiger was kind of a game for me, like, okay, figuring out how you can climb, what is most efficient, how much gear I need really. And the Eiger North Face I knew by heart, so I could play really with not a lot of gear. And so my next challenge was like, how does that technique work on a climb which I'd never climbed before? Because that would be interesting if you're that efficient, like in a climb which you don't know. I mean, that's a big step. Like repeating something over and over again, it's kind of like climbing a red point. But on-sighting, I mean, that's like where you have to improvise, and that's like the big challenge for me. So my next step was, I want to try the Grandes Jourass in as fast as I can. I never was thinking about records or whatever. It's just like I want to be figuring out what is possible. And so I went to the Grandes Jourass a year later, after my ascent 2008 on the Eiger. A year later I went to Grandes Jourass, and I chose the Colton McIntyre route, which is basically much a more difficult route than the Eiger North Face, technical wise. And I've never climbed that before. So how will I do in this route? And I started climbing. I remember the conditions were not really good. I mean, the whole, like the head wall was completely dry, and the lower part there was sometimes just blue ice. So there was like, should I really go or not? I mean, if I want to do it on site, and if it's in bad conditions, then I mean, maybe you should wait. And it was really cold. It was minus 18 degrees Celsius. So I was about thinking like, should I try or not? I was like, come on, let's try. I have nothing to lose. And even if you climb it fast in bad conditions, it's a different experience. You know, it's a real climb. And I started climbing, I remember, and I moved really fast. And on the way up, I realized there are like a 3-pitch variation, which is much higher, which has like a 95 degrees ice, which was formed. And I saw that, I was like, wow, that's a good chance. I want to climb that. And I went for this like 3 hard pitches, and instead climbing the easier way to the left, because it was just looking insane to climbing that, and it was really technical climbing. And during the climb, it was never like thinking about how fast or how fast I'm moving or checking the watch. It's just you you concentrate on your moves. It's just like in this thin ice, it's like having your ice tool and make sure the ice is not gonna break because you don't wearing a rope, and it's all about this. But you're moving just normally so fast and efficient. And then the head wall on Grandes Jourass was really technical. I mean, I always had to decide, is it really possible or not, because there's some delicate dry tooling, and there is a little, I remember there was a little overhang which I had to dry tool, and I was below it, and I was like, should I really go for it without the rope or not? Because once I start to climb in this section, I can't back up. I mean, I cannot just pull the rope or whatever. You're climbing, so there is no way back, so you have to pull through. And I went for it, and it was perfect climbing, the perfect moment, and you feel comfortable, you know. And I think that's also something which is really important. You have to feel comfortable for climbing it. Of course you have to push a little bit, but it has to be in a zone where you feel comfortable. And finally I topped out on the Grandes Jourass, and it took me 2 hours and 21 minutes to climb the north face of the Grandes Jourass, which was by far the fastest time. So after I climbed the Grandes Jourass, my whole game completely changed, because I had another view now on the mountains. Because when I'm looking now on a 1,500 meter face, it has a different value to me than before. Before it was like 1 or 2 days, and now it has like, oh, it's easy, that you can do it easy in a half a day. So it completely changed in that moment.